I'm Quinn Lemley with Secrets of the Stage. This is the place where we pull back the curtains and we dive into the creative process. And today I am so excited because I have a child psychologist, Alice Kandell, who is also up for a Nobel Peace Prize. So this is going to be a very exciting episode. And she's a humanitarian and a collector of Tibetan shrines and art. Welcome, Alice.
Thank you very much. It's lovely to be here.
I am so excited that you're here.
Me too.
You're just incredible. And the fact that you're nominated this year for the Nobel Peace Prize.
I can't believe it.
It's just unbelievable.
It is. You work your whole life and you never know what's coming down the pike.
Did you ever imagine that you would?
Never. You work your whole life doing what you do and you just do it. And it doesn't seem like anything different from anybody else.
And then you realize how many lives you've changed.
How many? Well, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Well,
I mean, I just realized I've done things maybe differently from other people, but I don't know it because it's
you did
just
it your
me.
way. You did it your way.
I never think of other people doing it one way or another. I just do what I do. And there it is for somebody
let's
else.
talk about this journey. When you were at Sarah Lawrence, you went to Tibet, or near Tibet.
Oh, that, yeah.
With your friend. I mean, this is just incredible.
We were going to a Russian trip with a professor. They take students. And one of the girls going on the trip, he was taking a group of girls, came to me and said, "Do you want to go to Tibet after the trip is over?" I said, "Sure." Because we had studied Tibet a little bit, and we knew a little bit about Buddhism. And she wanted to go because she had an aunt who showed her where to go. I said, "Sure." So I told my parents, "Guess what, I'm going to Tibet." And they said, "There's a war going on in Tibet with China. 2 Sarah Lawrence girls on the back of a donkey are not going into war zone." So I couldn't go. But she went by herself. Of course, she got stopped at the border and she couldn't go because it's too dangerous. And she stayed in a hotel called the Windermere Hotel. And while she was there in Darjeeling, on the border of Tibet, looking over the border, the crown prince of a little kingdom on the border of Darjeeling and border of Tibet, was actually the pass between Tibet and India, Sikkim. He came to visit his children. His wife had died, and he had 3 children, and they were in school in Darjeeling, where she was. And he stopped in this hotel, and she was there, and the two of them met, and I'll make a long story short, they fell in love.
It's kismet.
I know. And they got married.
How beautiful.
And she then became the princess, and he the crown prince. He was the crown prince.
So how did you then wind up going? You were a photographer too, right?
No, I became it. But I'll tell you, I had to learn quick. And then shortly thereafter, the old king, the late king, died, and he became the king. He was the crown prince.
And your girlfriend is a princess or a queen?
The queen. I mean, she's the king. He was a king. She became the queen. Wow. And when that happened, I was already in graduate school. And
you were at Harvard.
I was at Harvard, and this big invitation came to the coronation, to me in Boston.
How exciting.
And I was so excited, but I couldn't go because I was in graduate school and they don't let you go for 2 or 3 weeks. It's a long trip. And I really wanted to go so badly. So I said to my professor, sheepishly, "Do you think I could possibly, you see, there's this American girl, she's going to become a queen, it's in the Himalayas, and where are the Himalayas?
A chance of a lifetime?
She had no idea." And she said, "When fantasy becomes reality, a member of the psychology department at Harvard should be there to witness it."
Yes! Yes!
Changed my life. I mean, I didn't know it was any different than anybody else. An invitation to the theater. So anyway, I went.
A coronation.
I got to go. It's the coronation,
right?
Which was unbelievable. Just Sikkim, which used to be part of Tibet, so it is a Tibetan Buddhist country. The beauty of the people, of the air, of the religion, of the monks, sweetness, wonderfulness of the monks, and above all, the art, which was just magnificent. And it was all over the temples and in the temple where the coronation was. It was so beautiful. I couldn't get enough of it.
Wow.
Well, nothing could leave that country. Nothing, you know, you couldn't take it out, and the people would not sell any religious art because they were used it. I mean, it was a religious country.
Well, it was
they
part of
just
their culture.
sell it
I mean, right.
to some stranger. So I kept going back, and I went back and back, and we did all kinds of things. We changed the educational system. I brought in from America the president of Bank Street College of Education, which is one of the best colleges of teachers, education. And he made several suggestions, and we went around for a month, and she came out with a series of books and a system of education. It was really nice. We did that. We did a line of clothing that was sold at Bergdorf Goodman.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
like Tibetan clothing.
Tibetan. She designed a style,
How
but it was for
chic.
Western. Yeah, but anyway, that trip to Sikkim, I went back many times for about 8 years. It just changed several times a year. It changed my life, and we did all these for handicrafts and weaving. Anyway,
You're giving these people a job.
yeah, it was something new. Meanwhile, I'm at Harvard, trying to write my dissertation.
And so you're back and forth.
And then the king said, look, you have to document this country.
That's when you became the photographer.
That's when I went to school. I went to School for Visual Arts while I'm at Harvard, writing my dissertation, and I hired a professor to go around with me. I mean, this was a quick crash course.
when the calling comes, you
I had
you
no
take
choice.
it.
The king
Carpe
told me
diem.
he had to. And then I spent several weeks in a Jeep. We went to visit families. I photographed them.
You really documented this culture and
I
kept it alive.
And that's all that's left.
That your collection is all that's left.
all that's left of that time. They want me to come back and show it to them because India annexed it. They took over, and it wasn't pleasant. It was.
So
a
when did
battle.
you start bringing the things from the shrines back?
That was after I came home. What happened was the Tibetans, you know, Tibet was taken over by China, and
Yes.
the refugees ran away carrying the one thing that was valuable to them, their religious images. And the wealthy people brought a lot of them. And they were not for sale either, but eventually they had to, because refugees need a car, they need a refrigerator, they need a computer, a telephone, they need money. And so they let me have it if I promised I would keep it in a sacred space.
And you did. You have to
I
tell
did.
this story about
I
your sacred
did.
space.
I did. I kept it in a shrine room. First, it was all over my apartment because I didn't know what to do with it. I had these things I loved, but I wouldn't sell them. Nothing. I've never sold anything. Once somebody tried to buy something, and I had two of them. I said, well, okay. And then she got my price, and I said, no, I'm sorry, it's not for sale. I never sold anything. I just couldn't. And I put them in this one room, my dining room. It was my dining room. And every time I got a
in
new
New
piece,
York,
I love it in
on
New
the
York,
Upper East
my
Side.
apartment.
I love it. I love it.
And I put it, every time a new piece came, I would love it. I would love it so much, and it would stay with me for a while. And I had a curator who would call me when he knew the families, and he would get these pieces, and he said, I got a great piece. I said, oh, bring it over. And he said, no, I have to live with it for a few weeks. I know exactly what he meant, because I did too. So I had to wait. And then there it was in my bedroom. I loved it.
Wow.
And then I would put it in the shrine room, which wasn't really a shrine room in the beginning. It was just a room. And gradually the room got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I realized it did not
What did your
belong
kids
to me.
say? Mom in her shrine room? Or would they play in the shrine room?
Yes, they would.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And we always knew when company was coming because the shrine room, because the shrine bowls were always, the offering bowls were always full of candy. So we knew when guests were coming.
Right. I love it. That's great. But eventually, I mean, this room was so sacred.
I decided it was time to let the public, but who came to my house? A few itinerant friends, and I said, oh, this is really nice. And I decided it should go to a museum. So the Smithsonian curator came.
At the Sackler Gallery.
At the Sackler Gallery, at the National Museum of Asian Art. And she walked in the door because she had had free time. Somebody canceled an appointment. That's as dumb as that. That's the only reason she came. Somebody canceled. And she walked in the door and she said, you know, we're not taking anybody's things. Everybody wants to give us their stuff. And we can't use their stuff, sorry. But I'll look at it anyway because I have the time here. I have a few hours. So I showed her a few things and then I took her into the shrine room. And she went in there and I let her stay in there she stayed in there for about 10 minutes. And she came out, she was crying, she was flushed. And 6 months later, it was on view at the Smithsonian.
Oh my goodness.
I know. It does something to people. At the Smithsonian right now, it has been installed permanently. It will never go. But we know from the comments of people that actually go in the book, you know,
what are some other experiences
you
that
changed
people
my
have had?
life. I've never experienced anything like this. I suddenly have peace in my soul. These are different. I have seen G-O-D, whatever that means.
Wow.
I'll never be the same after this. I don't know how it happened. It's not just like a bunch of stuff stuck in a room and antiques or a bunch of stuff that you can look at.
Well, I mean, it's curated in a very
specific, and I specified.
But you did it.
I did it. I don't know what I was doing or why, but it happened. It just happened. And I specified at the Smithsonian that it had to be exactly the way it was in my room. And they came and they were lying all over the floor with measuring tapes, measuring the room.
I love it.
And they made it, and it took pictures of every corner, and they made it exactly the same.
And there are 2 books on your collection. One's on your collection, and it's A Shrine for Tibet.
Indeed.
And then there's another one about your life and your relationship with the shrine
And
called
some of the pieces in the shrine room.
Assembly of the Exalted.
Well, that's a Tibetan expression.
I love
Assembly
it.
of the Exalted. It means assembly of the deities, all the great deities. And that's what this is.
Well, yes, you can see it. I mean, I can't wait to go down and experience it. We have to bring our associate producer, Errol Rappaport.
Oh, absolutely. Errol will love it. We put this in the book so that people could stand this up and meditate if they wanted to.
So
this
it's a portable
is exactly
shrine.
the room.
Oh my goodness! I have to show our viewers.
It is a room. It's 4-sided. That's the wall. That's
so
the
it's
wall.
like that.
Yeah, yeah. And the author Robert Thurman, who was the head of the religion department at Columbia, and himself a monk, ordained monk.
Really?
He said people should sit in it and then they can meditate.
You mean sit in this?
Well, sit in their
image,
desk
yes.
or something and
I love
who
it.
knows, meditate in there. Who knows?
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That is a
Bob
brilliant
Thurman
idea.
is
That way,
brilliant.
people from everywhere can experience this. That is wonderful.
No, this is a long book. Yeah. This is a pull-out. If you get the book, it's a pull-out from the back. It fits in a sleeve here.
It's beautiful.
And in here, a little pocket. So that comes with it. This one has one attached because people steal it in the bookstores. So this one has, well, wait, I have to tell you the worst of it.
Such beautiful books.
Here we go.
Here's the whole shrine.
This is at the Smithsonian. This is a picture at the Smithsonian. The other one was in my apartment. This was already after it went to the Smithsonian.
So this is the Smithsonian, and the other one is your apartment.
Yeah, before I gave it to the Smithsonian. That book was written before.
This is incredible. I have a question, though. Do you ever ask yourself, what is my karma that made me the guardian and the custodian of these wonderful pieces?
I don't ever do that.
Do you?
Why? I don't know.
You just are.
You do what I like in this world.
That's the way to be.
Partially, I went to Sarah Lawrence, and Sarah Lawrence, the one thing we all learned is do it.
I love it.
If you love it, you should follow it. And don't say, well, no, I'm working in a hospital and I'm a psychologist. I'm not going to do that.
My mother always was that way too.
Look at you.
She's always like, just do it, Quinn.
Just do it. Look at you. You've had so many. You're a singer and an actor and a dancer and now a TV host. And a wonderful person.
Well, I mean, it gives me the opportunity to meet
Go
you and
ahead
to be
and
with
do
you.
it,
It's
do it.
great.
Well, that partially, I mean, it was from that.
But your work, your scope of work isn't just your shrine or your shrine room and your work in Tibet. You have worked with child trafficking.
Yes, I'll tell you about that, but let me finish with this. I missed it terribly. And so there was very little left I only bought from families. I never bought in the art market. And I made another shrine. It took me 6 years. First one took me 30 years. This one took me. And again, I loved it. I went in every night. It was spiritually wonderful. It was exactly the same. And I realized it was too much to keep in my apartment. And so I gave that to Minneapolis about a year ago.
Where in Minneapolis? To the museum?
Yes, the Minneapolis Museum Institute of Art, MIA. It's there now.
So now people can go on the East Coast.
It opened.
They can go to the
that.
Midwest.
Yes, they can go to the Midwest.
So
I thought of Europe, but I think it's better to do it.
I like the fact that you kept it in the United
Yeah,
States.
yeah.
I think we need it. We need it here.
Well,
we need it here.
Yeah, there's nothing like it to bring that kind of spiritual. What it is, I don't know. It's not. I suppose there are other rooms of paintings and things, but I don't know. It's just unique.
That's incredible.
The way it's put together, not just a bunch of antiques.
So the name of the museum in
Minneapolis is Minneapolis Institute of Art, and they call themselves MIA, M-I-A.
And what is the room called?
The Alice Kandell Tibetan Shrine Room.
Oh, it's this. Okay, and it's the exact same.
Exact same one. It looks exactly the same.
Wow.
I put it together exactly the same way.
I love it.
And I only got images that would make that same.
The triangles. The
pyramid,
hierarchy.
Pyramid, yeah, which is the way it is in Tibet.
Right.
Because the Buddha is the highest, and then the other deities keep.
But did you have an allurement towards Tibet before, or with your family, or in your history? It just
nothing
was because of your friend.
Nothing. It was all because of my trip to Sikkim.
Isn't
to
it
visit
amazing?
Hope Cook and her coronation.
It's amazing. My mom and I always had this saying where we'd say, you never know who's sitting or standing next to you. Because it can take a moment and your life can be changed.
Interesting.
Because you just don't know who is going to be your
going to happen.
guide or your connection or love or, I mean, it's just
You know what
magical.
I try to do? I try to look around a room and see, would that make, are they in the same business? And once I was at a party at my house and somebody said to me, oh, he's in the same business as him over there. I said, I'm going to go over and introduce them and they will never remember how they met.
I'm sure they will.
I don't know. So I went over and I said, and this woman standing next to me and said, I said, I'm going to introduce them. She said, that's because you're a woman.
No, you're definitely a connector and a collector of people. We only have a few more minutes. We have some time, but I want to get to the scope of your work too, and talk about what you were doing with child trafficking in Vietnam.
Right. I was on the board of
after Harvard.
After Harvard.
Right.
Yeah, I was also a psychologist and got a PhD at Harvard, but
that's a big deal, Alice.
I joined. That was not easy, let me tell you.
And a photographer.
Well, a photographer because I had to.
I know, it's amazing.
Document
all at the same time.
and do books. So then I was a photographer. So I joined the board of Vital Voices, which was a women's organization started by Hillary Clinton, who really believed in women. Mm-hmm. And the thing I was interested in was the trafficking in young girls. And I went to Vietnam. First I went with them, and we traveled all over Vietnam, meeting the police chiefs and doing, and the police chiefs were not interested. They were all in on it. You know, the police chief, he had the biggest house on the golf course.
Of course.
I mean, they were all getting paid off it. We tried to arrange a raid. We went on a raid for brothels, and all the girls were gone. They were on vacation. You know, the police tipped them off. Mm-hmm. So we were interviewing this, and I went with the higher-ups of the people making policy. But then I went back by myself, alone. Mm-hmm. And I knew a girl there, a Vietnamese girl, who had, this was Thailand, and she was a writer of plays, and I got her to write a play about trafficking so that the mothers in the villages would understand. They didn't know. There were women hanging around the villages who said, "You're my friend. Let me give an education to your daughter. She'll be so happy, and I'll get her a passport.
And they would steal them.
And we can take them to another country where she'll get an education." And they got them a passport. They took it away right away and put them right into the brothels. And the mothers never heard from them again. And they didn't know. And the woman would say, "But I'm your friend. You've known me for months now. You know I would never hurt your daughter." That was a job. They got paid for that. And girls are more valuable than drugs because they're reusable. Young girls. Or they sell them. And I had her write a play that we could broadcast to the villages. Now, these villages are nowhere. So I went around to all the stores in the main cities that I could find. In those days, we had big boom boxes.
The boom boxes,
the big
right?
Boom boxes. And she had a brother who had a truck. And he promised he would drive around to the villages with this truck. He also sold some stuff off the side of his truck. And he would deliver a boom box to every village. And what about batteries? There's no electricity.
Right.
So I went to the store and I bought cartons of batteries.
Who's the lady buying all the batteries?
But nobody knows who I am. They still don't. But I went and we gave him some. But I went back years later and I met an American man who had been deputized to be there. And he said, yes, the head man all came down and they all met and they took radios and they all went back. So I don't know what happened.
But you educated these people with these stories.
I'm hoping that was a way.
I mean, it's just incredible. You just came up with an answer and do it. And you just follow what you're called to do.
She's a playwright. I said, write a play.
I mean, it's incredible. I mean, all of these aspects of your life, I mean, it's culminating in the Nobel Peace Prize.
Well, yeah,
I mean, it's going to be quite...
There was a UN, an NGO, non-governmental organization, and my mother was the vice president, and then she passed away, and they made me the vice president of it.
Oh, my goodness.
And I used to go to the UN. I was deputized to the UN. And then I went to the UN in Geneva.
Wow.
And they were having a human rights group convention and at the UN, and there was a children's rights person there. And I was deputized to be there, and I went to her and tried to explain, and she was not interested.
Why?
It was terrible. She said the problem with child abuse is that children from Mexico are running through sewer pipes and they're getting sick and they're trying to get into America. And she said, you have to clean up the sewer pipes. I mean, it was hopeless. And the head of the International League for Human Rights said, don't make yourself crazy. I was going crazy. I mean, it was
So what
horrible.
did you do?
Well, there wasn't much I could do at the UN. If she was in charge of the children's rights, what was I going to do?
Well, you're bringing up issues.
Yeah, yeah.
And don't you have a letter that you want to read? The Smithsonian, too, I heard, for your Nobel Peace Prize, wrote an incredible affirmation of your nomination.
Oh, I should read this to you.
Please.
At the Smithsonian. It's been there since 2010. It's never going anywhere. They don't have any exhibits that last that long. But it's been there since 2010. And this is the assistant head of the Smithsonian, of the whole Smithsonian.
Read it, read it.
And he went into that shrine room every day before work.
How beautiful.
Every day. So I'll read you what he wrote.
Please, please.
To the Nobel Peace Prize.
I can't wait.
He's saying, lights flicker, recorded sound of chanting Tibetan monks fill the space. All this is true. The overall impact of going in there is not just a fabulous museum exhibit, but much, much more. Annually, hundreds of thousands of visitors to Washington, D.C. come to the shrine room. They pause, they meditate, they reflect. Minds are stilled and spirits shine. The shrine room centers the soul in the minds of a chaotic universe and creates an overwhelming sense of peace and can have a lasting effect. That's what happened to me. The UNESCO Constitution, written in the aftermath of World War II, begins with the insight, quote, "Wars begin in the minds of men. So it is in the minds of men that the defense of peace must be constructed." Alice Kandell Shrine Room does just that, constructing peace in the minds of millions of people in the most heartfelt, soulful way, one person at a time.
So beautiful.
I know.
Alice.
He wrote that. The head assistant had it. It was just beautiful.
Well, I mean, he wrote it from his heart.
He did.
You know,
He
I mean,
did.
just think in these turbulent times that we're having all over the world.
Look at you.
that-
I know.
I just am
Even
just
talking about it.
But just think, I mean, you're bringing hope and peace and joy for people from all over the world as they go to
Yeah, so
Washington and all
sweet.
your friends. It's so beautiful. I'm so happy that Michael Daly nominated you because
Me too.
you changed
Your
and-
eyes are all.
and now
I can't believe you.
I only
You're so
have one
sweet.
minute left, but you also change people's lives through opera and working at the Met, and you bring people together through music and your passion for that.
I do.
I just am so honored to get to interview you and be your friend and get to know you. And I mean, you just really bring peace and love.
Thank you. My father said everybody has a chance in their life. Most people don't take it, but you take it. Look at you. I'm so sorry.
I needed to hear that. I needed to hear it.
You did it.
Thank
you. Did
you.
it too.
And
Thank
you need to hear that. Alice S. Kandell, thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Quinn. You're amazing.
We are Secrets of the Stage. We air every Sunday night at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time on MNM.org, Channel 4. Or you can visit me at QuinnLemley.com and subscribe to my newsletter, be a part of my world, or you can see us on Spotify, Apple, or on Black Tie Magazine. Until next time, I'm Quinn Lemley with Secrets of the Stage.